Hello. In this video, we are going to be teaching you how to perform the Heimlich to others and to yourself when no one else is around, and how to also perform CPR on others, because you can't perform that on yourself. Can you cough? Can you talk? Are you choking? As you can see, this is when you need to perform the Heimlich. So you grab the person and you make a cinnamon roll with your fist and grasp it firmly. Not too hard though, because you'll get calluses, okay? So you make the cinnamon roll and you place it right above their belly button. And then from here, you go in and up, because you're trying to get it out of them. So you go in and up. And then the food comes out and she's saved. I'm all better. Recap.
Small cinnamon roll, cup it with your hand, about the belly button. You're gonna push in and then up. In and up makes the diaphragm go up, moving the food up the esophagus and out of the mouth.
Out of there.
If the person is in a wheelchair, then you have to try to get them closer to the edge of the chair to do the Heimlich. Otherwise, you need help getting them up. You do the Heimlich until 1, 911 arrives. B, 2, they pass out and you start CPR.
That's our next thing. After we teach you how to do the self-Heimlich.
You're home and you start choking and you need to do the Heimlich, but there's no one around to help you. You find a corner of a counter and you begin trying to do the Heimlich yourself. Still doing the same motion of in and up as well as you can. It is important to remember that just as if someone next to you is choking, you also need to call 911 if it's yourself. Even if you are unable to talk, I'm pretty sure they can track your location, right? And send help your way. And ambulances, they can break their way into your house.
Yes, and even if you think it's your last leg, you're like, you know what, this is my time, I'm gonna die. Well, guess what? You have a full 6 minutes before your brain loses oxygen.
Yeah.
So that is 6 minutes for the fire department or the popo or whoever comes to save you.
Yeah. And even after that food comes out, you never know, you scratch up your esophagus. You never know what happened, so you're going to want to get that checked out.
Yeah.
Do you know what cardiac arrest looks like? Well, neither did she. It can happen to anyone. You may just be walking around the street one day or on your way to school or work, and you're thinking that chest pain you had all day was just heartburn. But it turns out it starts radiating up into your jaw. You have abdominal pain and nausea. Your left side becomes tingly. This is a heart attack. If you have any of these symptoms, especially if the chest pain is radiating to your jaw or left arm, it's important to get medical attention at a hospital via the emergency room. It's also important that if you can, sit down, take deep breaths, and take a baby aspirin to help. CPR or an AED machine can save your life. If you become unconscious when having a heart attack, it's important to not only get to the emergency room as quick as possible, but to begin those chest compressions as soon as possible. It may save your life. Okay, we're going to break it down for you. So once a person's heart stops, immediately the blood flow to their brain is cut off. They can die within 8 to 10 minutes. So that's why getting CPR started right away is so essential. You're going to begin with trying to figure out, is the situation safe? Because if the person is in the middle of the street or in a dangerous area and you run out to help them, you're putting yourself at risk, and then no one's going to be able to get help. So you got to make sure it's a safe situation for you to get into, and you're going to evaluate the person. So I have Ryan here, and I know Ryan is 17 years old. But if she was younger and I couldn't, decide how old she was, I would always go with 2 hands. Technically, children are supposed to only have 1 hand, but if you can't decide how old they are, use 2. So you're going to take your first hand, your dominant hand, and that's going to be on the bottom. You're going to take your top hand and interlace your fingers like this. You're going to use the bottom of your palm to really do the chest compressions, which should be right about the breastbone around your diaphragm. And you're going to want to push at least 2 inches deep and do 100 to 120 compressions per minute. And so you're going to go like this. And if you don't know at the pace you're supposed to do, you can always sing Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, which is what Ryan and I are going to do, right? So I evaluate my situation. I see she's an adult. I'm going to use 2 hands. I get my hands set up. I locate where I need to put my hands to do accurate CPR. And I'm going to start singing or counting compressions. So, staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. You're going to use your own body weight to do the compressions. If you're doing compressions up until ambulance arrive, which can be several minutes, it is possible that you can break a rib. But it is important to maintain doing CPR because the broken rib is nothing compared to not getting oxygen anywhere in their body.
No broken bone is broken
Some people say you are supposed to use mouth to mouth, which I'm not going to demonstrate on Ryan, but if you were to do mouth to mouth, you'd want to take their head and tilt it up to make sure that airway is open, pinch their nose, open their mouth, cover their mouth with yours, and blow it. I think you're supposed to do 2 breaths. You're supposed to do 2 breaths every 20 compressions. It really depends on the person and how trained you are. And then after you were to give them mouth to mouth, you put their head back down and continue CPR so they don't strain that neck. That's the first part. Okay, a few quick things we did not cover because we're going to do a broad overview of basic essential CPR training in an adult. For an infant, you would only use 2 fingers to deliver chest compressions instead of 2 hands because they're, much more fragile and delicate and they're smaller. If it's a child, older than an infant to 8 years old, you're going to use 1 hand doing compressions. And if they're 8 or you can't really decipher and older, you're going to do an adult, so that's 2 hands. So that looks like your dominant hand on the bottom, your not dominant hand on top, interlace your fingers like this, and you're going to use the bottom of your palm to really deliver those chest compressions. You want to go at a pace of 100 to 120 beats per minute. If you don't know, you can sing Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And you want to push down about 2 inches down right over the diaphragm or the breastbone to really get...
To save a life.
Yeah, to save a life, to do accurate CPR. It's very typical that you will be doing CPR for quite a while, several minutes before an ambulance were to show up, and at that point, you may get very tired, and it's important that you maintain accurate, quality CPR the entire time. So I would ask someone next to me to step in. You can
depend on it.
Yeah, you can also use an AED machine, and mouth to mouth, but you don't have to do that to get someone's blood restored and to save them from a heart attack. Compressions are the most important part. That EAD would have AED. That AED would be telling you instructions as you do it.
Yes.
So it's pretty self-explanatory.
So overall, in this video, we taught you how to save lives of others, including yourself. And this is an important life skill because you never know when you'll be in a situation where others need your help or if you need help
yourself.
Yeah.
And you're choking.
So that's just an important life skill to have just because you never know when you'll need to use it.